Good evening, everybody. My name is Annatasha, but you can call me Tasha for short because Annatasha is a quite a mouthful. Okay, so it's kind of weird being on stage without any music playing in the background. I'm usually used to singing, but now I'm just talking. And I'm pretty sure you won't be able to make me stop talking. I have 20 minutes though, so I'll try to keep this short and sweet. All right, so while waiting for my slides to come on, I'm going to tell you a little bit of myself. My name is Annatasha. I am currently a Berklee College of Music student. I major in sound engineering, music production and sound engineering. Yeah, engineer. And it took me a long time to be able to call myself a musician because of this whole journey I'm about to explain to you. It did not start. I am not like Jasmine, where I was born and I knew I wanted to do environment. I was more like, okay, let's see what else is out there for me. I mean, I had a rough idea of what I wanted to do, but I couldn't like commit to that without trying different things as well at the same time. So, let's see. I started off with dance. Does this work? Hey, it works. I started off with dancing. I did musical theater in high school all throughout. I was a ballerina. Don't tell me to do the splits anymore. I can't do that anymore. And then after that, I went on to try singing. I did the whole commercial music thing, did a video clip with some local artists. Also was like, I don't know. I don't feel like being like a superstar or anything. And then after I finished high school, I was kind of nervous because the whole music thing, it's kind of a risky business because like you don't know whether you're going to pick up and become a superstar and stuff like that. So I was like, what other form of art have I not explored yet? And it was cooking. So I applied in Taylor's University for my culinary major. Surprisingly, even though I like kind of hated it at first, I finished. I stuck through, I committed, I finished, got my diploma, and then left school to start a business, which was my pastry business. That picked up pretty well, you know. And then these are some of the other dishes I cook, you know, just some shameless advertising. And then with the money that I actually earned from cooking and selling my macarons, I did the whole delivery thing. Like I would cook Saturday to Sunday, and then Monday go to like 13 houses from Shah Alam to Kajang to Cyberjaya and everything, and hand deliver my goodies. And from that money, I actually ended up traveling because that's the other thing I didn't do. Before that, I also took pictures, photographs. It was an easy way, quick way to get money. They all, you know, my friends already had pretty faces and good clothes, and all we had to do was just take pictures and just sell them. And so I went traveling. And that was one of the best times of my life. After that, I finished traveling. I will tell you the story in detail in a bit, but after the traveling happened, I found myself applying for Berklee College of Music, and then now this is my job. I sit in the studio for like from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, mixing other people's music, not in the limelight whatsoever, but still doing music. So I was like, this is perfect for me. So about being curious, sorry, I have my notes because nervous a bit. My mother has always taught me how, like, just ask questions. Like, don't be afraid. There is no question that is stupid. But just always remember to never be rude or insensitive when asking these questions. It could be any questions from, I don't know, let's not get into it, but like politics and then science and then environment. And also just self-questions. Like, what do I want to do for myself? What else is there out, you know? We're always concentrating on one thing. We forget that we're probably capable of doing other things. So why do I encourage you to ask questions? It's because questions leads to ideas, and ideas lead to experience all around the world, or just here in KL or Malaysia on its own. It's all you have to do first is ask a question. Oh, all right. Is the next slide already? But when you're asking these questions, I want to also advise that you keep an open mind and an open heart. Because when you ask some questions, the answers are not going to be your ideal answers. You're either going to be disappointed or offended. And so you have to remember that a lot of people have different kinds of answers, and you just got to be open to it. So, for example, this is a story that's going to come out quite a lot during this talk. I was 15 and I really wanted to pursue my musical theater. So I heard there was this beautiful school in Australia to do performing arts and become the next Broadway star, Kononia lah. And then I got there, applied all that money, all that time, went there, went for my first ever dance class, and then realized, answered my question as of what is it like in Australia to do performing arts. Got there, got an answer, and it was not the best of answers. What it was that it was not as good as the program I already had here in Malaysia. And I was thinking, if I spend the next 5 years studying high school here and doing musical theater here, I'm not gonna personally feel as fulfilled as I would if I was back at home. I mean, I was a bit homesick as well, but I still wanted to be back home with my teachers who have, trained me since I was very small until this high. So I left. I came back to KL, and everybody was like, talk to my mom, like, Intan, why you let her do that? Waste so much money, waste so much time. But she's like, if she's not going to be happy, if she's going to be miserable, we might as well just make her happy at home. And I've learned this from my mother as well, is that if you make a wrong mistake, there will still be time to turn things around. And there will still be money to make in the rest of the world. You cannot worry, you just have to work for it and look for it. So, next one. Also, having gone to Australia, having tried it out, I have no regrets. No regrets, because if I had stayed here, some of my friends went to the same school, they made it. But I went there and it wasn't for me. But it's okay, no regrets. So also, another thing is that nothing is certain. Having come all this way through all my journeys and even ending up in Berkeley, which is, a really good school for my music production and sound engineering, I have this ideal plan of becoming a sound engineer for Pixar Animation Studios when I finish. Fingers crossed. Woo! Hi Pixar, if you're looking. Just kidding. But have a good mentality, have a down-to-earth kind of mentality, because I feel like if I don't get that job, I'm going to try for DreamWorks. And then if DreamWorks doesn't want to hire me, I'm going to try for Any Monster or something. I'll do anything because I want to work in animation. Nothing is certain, but at one time I got into a cab and I told this man in Los Angeles, I was like, I want to work for Pixar Animation Studios one day. And he said, you know what, girl? You have a plan, that means it's going to happen. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. And that's where I realized it is really important to have a plan. And when you have that plan, just work towards it. But also, some people like to have that tunnel vision and work towards the plan. Me, on the other hand, I have a vision, that road that's going towards the plan, but I always remind myself to explore on the way there. It's good to take breaks, which is not heard or read as get distracted, but it's good to just, enjoy the ride. Because, like I said, nothing is certain. If you get there and you were rushing there, you forgot to pick up some friends along the way or pick up some traits along the way, you're going to get there, not get the job, and have nothing to remember it by. I feel that you should pick up some memories, pick up some experiences, meet new people, so on the way there, even if you don't get it, it would still be worth it. It's like driving to a different state, taking a nice leisure drive all the way, I don't know, let's say Pahang. And then you're admiring the outskirts of town. There's no cities, there's less pollution, I think, where there's less cars on the highways and stuff like that. And then, as opposed to rushing to the state for a meeting, you're like, I was gonna swear, I'm sorry. I was like, crap, I'm gonna be so late for my meeting. You just zoom in there, you don't see anywhere else, you don't wanna get into an accident. It's kind of nice to pick up some scenery along the way. Anyways, so an example for this was when I was in high school. Of course, the, the goal in high school was to get your high school diploma, but along the way I picked up scuba diving and musical theater. And then in culinary school, when I decided to do cooking instead, I picked up photography. And also some social media stuff, because it was the in thing to do, be a social media influencer kind of thing. And then now at Berkeley, I'm doing videography on the side besides just sound engineering. So it's just I have a path. I'm just gonna, stop tepi jalan, minum teh ais sekejap, and then after that go back, So next up, everybody, this is the biggest question. Where? Somebody help me? Thank you. All right, now what was that? The next up is the biggest question, which is money. Finances is going to hold you back from doing some of the things that you want to do. It's the biggest thing. People, people online, when they see me go traveling and all that stuff, I'll get, tweets like, ala, unto nga, kaya. I'm like, no, wait. It's not impossible to answer all your questions if you have tight funds. Because it may make it an obstacle, but it does not make your questions any less worth answering. You deserve you deserve everything in the world, all of you. So how do you do it? You just have to work smart to fund your aspirations, whether it be skills or traveling or sorry, or like equipment or anything. Just you have to work smart. And how I did it was that after I finished culinary school and I realized I'm not gonna be a top chef. I'm not gonna become a, executive chef in some sort of hotel. I used the skills that I garnered from culinary school and opened up my macaron business. They even teach us marketing in that school and entrepreneurship. So, we learn things. So I used that, I applied that, and I made money. Besides that, I also did photography to shoot, blog shops for their catalog and stuff like that. Just kept on saving and saving and saving. And then finally, I want to tell you all that no job is too low or too beneath you, and you should never think that any job is beneath you. I worked as a waitress for quite a while in a French restaurant with really snotty people who will call you like you're a dog, like, hey, Bill. It's like, come on, like I'm a human being. And then they would like tip. Well, over here we don't have a tipping system, but anyways. But no job is beneath you. If you really want what you want, even working at like McDonald's or a mama stall should not stop you from funding your aspirations. You cannot be on a high horse. Stay on the ground. You're all right on the ground. And even after being treated or mistreated by chefs in the kitchen or like patrons in the restaurant, it was all still worth it because I saved up that money and then I went traveling. I had so many questions. What is America like? I wonder what people there are like. Is it really like the movies? I went. I pulled up a PowerPoint presentation for my mother. I said, Mom, I want to go to America. She was like, what? I was like, look, this is why. Because if you let me stay here, I don't know what I want to do. I'm a culinary graduate, but I'm also a photographer. And then I also do social media, but I don't feel like that's the rest of my life. I still have so many questions. Please let me go. She was like, if you can pay for yourself, pergilah. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do it. So saved all that money, went traveling, met a bunch of my friends, went to Boston, and stumbled upon Berklee College of Music. I saw it, and it was like Hogwarts for musicians. It's like, Hogwarts, they have wands. We also have wands, the conducting bitten. So I was like, wow, this is going to be perfect for me. I don't know, but, I'll think about it. So I went home, I came back to KL, and then Berklee has this sneaky way of following you. If you go on their YouTube, there'll suddenly be like a little banner that says, register now for Berklee College of Music. Get all your musical dreams right here. I'm like, okay. So I registered. It was about 300 ringgit. I had that saved up. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right. If I don't get in, it's okay. At least I tried. If I do get in, then crap. Now we'll think about that later, about all the money and stuff like that. But then I would be able to call myself a musician. So all of this, and I got in, obviously. And then it all just started off by asking a question. Like, what if I click that register button? What if, and even before that, it started with, what is America like? And even before that, it started with, I wonder what it's like to travel at 20. It's just question after question. It's like one thing leads to another, and then I pick up all these things along the way. And then when you try out things, there are going to be things that don't work out the way you planned it to. Just like my Australia story, where I went all the way there and came back, and it just didn't work out. But you have to be positive, because just remember, they say it's never a mistake, it's a lesson learned. And as cheesy as that sounds, I really believe that as well. Because having been in Australia and having been there for, 3 months, I learned some of the culture. I can come back here, and when Australian people come here, I hold great conversations. Oh my God. They're gonna be things to talk about. You're never gonna be boring, and it's it's knowledge, it's wisdom, it's just, you're gonna have a pool of conversation to have with other people. Never regret anything you do. Because even though you spend money and time on that experience that didn't work out, it's still knowledge, even though it didn't translate into skill. You still get something out of it. So you just gotta remain positive and be motivated forever and ever and ever. Like Jasmine was saying that her motivation were her grandparents and her inspiration. Like my motivation to keep on working as just a standalone woman is my mother, because she's a single woman. She has 3 kids. We live in a nice house, and she has had no money support from anybody in the world. Not well, maybe a little bit from her parents, but not my father, nobody else. And she's like superwoman. And if it's anything, my motivation, I don't care how I make the money, but my motivation is I want to be able to buy her a house before she goes. You know what I mean? And before that, like, it doesn't matter how I make the money, as long as I make it before she goes. And then there's gonna be stuff like, if it's not for you, it's okay. Because there are things that happen where you try and it doesn't happen to you, or it doesn't happen for you, and you get demotivated. Is that a word? You just, you lose motivation. And you should know that it's all right. Don't worry about it. I learned this a lot through auditioning. Like when I audition for a certain part, and I know that I can do it, but they tell you, no, we don't need you. Next. It's okay, because sometimes, that one time I auditioned for, what was it? I think it was Annie in Genting Highlands. They had like all the orphan kids. They had us all lined up in a straight line. I had already passed the singing audition, so I knew maybe I can sing, right? But I was too tall. It's like, if the part is not for you, they're just not going to need you. And then you're going to be like, you know what, it's okay. Maybe I'll be for somebody else. So remember, if you're not good at anything, like if you come to terms that let's say you're not good at golf, for example, which was me. I tried that out once too. Didn't work out. Too much, yeah. Anyways, if you're not good at that, there are still 100 things in the world that you could be good at. All you have to do is go out there and look for it. And it all starts with a question. So remember that all of this curiosity that I went through that brought me to all these places is all on myself. I want you to be inspired to make that money and then find that time and ask those questions. And at the same time, practice good energy. When the bad things don't work out, channel that anger and that disappointment into creating new things or into the next thing. Just keep on moving forward. It'll be great. And I'm almost done, so I'm just going to say that I'm going to offer you a place to give me your first question. Ask a question today. I know we're going to have refreshments after this, so if you want to ask me anything in particular about any field that I have explored into, whether it be photography, music, or cooking, or scuba diving, so on and so forth, come and ask me your first question of the day, and we'll get talking, and let's spark that idea within you so you can be curious and explore, discover yourself. Thank you.